Hello and welcome to CloudFolks HUB. My name is Bhavesh Atara. You are learning Elastic Container Service. I have one application. I want to launch this application inside ECS, and to launch my application I have to create service. Now, when I am going to create service, we have so many options available. We are exploring each and every option, and in this particular video we are going to explore networking option in create service. What is networking option, how it works, I am going to explain you everything about it in this video. So let's start. Now when we are going to the networking option, right now I am getting default VPC. And as you know that when we are using default VPC, we have all the subnets public. Now we don't want to use default VPC. We want to follow best practices provided by AWS. So when we will launch our task, we are not going to use this default one. We will create our own VPC. Now this will be the design of our VPC. If you look at this design carefully, you will find out that here we are going to use two availability zone. Why we are going to use two availability zone? Because we want that if one availability zone goes down, it is not going to affect our application, right? Then after, we are going to create public subnet and private subnet. As you know that whatever the resources we have in public subnet, having public IP, and inbound internet is always enabled over here. Means whatever the resources you have in the public subnet can be accessible over the internet. Then we have private subnet. Private subnet is actually secure. Whatever the resources you have in the private subnet, nobody can access this over the internet. So we will set up public subnet, we will set up private subnet, and then we will launch our task into the private subnet. If our task is in private subnet, nobody can access it over the internet, right? I know that you may have question in your mind that if nobody can access this over the internet, how your application will work. No need to worry, I will answer this, okay? So first thing is, I want to make my application secure and I want to launch my task into the private subnet, okay? So we have to set up VPC design first. Then when we are going to set up our service, we have to select our own VPC. Then from here, we need to select our private subnet. Once I will select private subnet, ECS will launch my task into the private subnet, right? Then we have security group. Now, as you know that we are actually going to launch this task into the Fargate. Now, when we are using Fargate, we have to use networking mode AWS VPC. And in AWS VPC, each task will get Elastic Network Interface, right? So each task will have their own Elastic Network Interface. Now when we are going to create security group from here, right? Security group from here, this security group is actually going to protect ENI of our task. It is going to protect ENI of all the tasks. So which traffic we want to allow, which traffic we want to outbound, inbound will be decided by this ENI's security group. Let's say that if my application is running on port number 80, so I have to allow port number 80 into this particular security group. So it will only allow port number 80, other traffic will be restricted. So this is how we have to set up security group. Right now, I am not going to set up this security group. I am just giving you overview about it. But when we will set up our application, we will set up VPC security group in advance and then we will select this from here. Okay. Now the last option about networking is public IP. Now this is totally depend on how you are going to launch your application. If I am going to talk about our scenario, if you look at this, we have our task into the private subnet. Now, if we have our task into the private subnet, nobody is going to access this task from the internet. Now, in this case, if we are going to provide public IP, it doesn't make any sense. Of course, if you have your task into the public subnet and you want anybody to access your task from the internet, you have to provide public IP. But we are not doing this. We are launching our task into the private subnet. So in this case, we don't need public IP address for our task, so we can turn it off. Okay. Now you may have one question here, that if you are going to launch your application into the private subnet, it cannot be accessible over the internet, right? That's true. If it is not accessible over the internet, then what is the use case? Application must be accessible, right? So how we can solve this problem?
Sorry to interrupt you. I know you guys are enjoying our video a lot, because our final ultimate goal is Solution Architect Certification exam. To reach the destination, we required full videos. Path number 1, our 6-in-1 program. Our 6-in-1 program include all prerequisite skills which is needed as a cloud engineer. It include 24/7 support, lifetime update, section-wise practice test, full course practice test with tips and tricks by Bhavesh Atara, how to do exam preparation course, weekly lifetime live session with Bhavesh Atara, and 6 AWS project with documents. Path number 2, you can enroll by paying 499 and get Hindi and English, both the languages, videos of AWS. The choice is yours how to create your success story by choosing best one. Best of luck. Thank you.